I'm Steve Amber, and I'm surely gripped with exploration in VOA Special English. Imagine standing at the edge of a tall bridge, hundreds of meters below you. River water rushes by. You take a deep breath and jump off the bridge, head first into thin air. As a reaction to such excitement and fear, the hormone adrenaline flows through your body. There is nothing but a long rubber rope attached to your ankles, holding on to your pedal life. Some people call it crazy, others say it is exciting. Whatever you may think, bungee jumping has become a popular extreme sport all over the world. Bungee jumping is not a new activity. Men of Pentecost Island in the South Pacific have been doing land jumping for hundreds of years. The men tie long vines from plants around their ankles. They spend days building tall towers out of pines and log. Then they jump off these structures. It takes a great deal of skill to jump correctly and safely. Land diving for them is an important cultural activity. According to their beliefs, the first land diver was a woman. She, does, she decided to run away from her abusive husband. So she climbed up to tall tree and tied some pines around her feet. Her husband chased after her up the tree. He reached out to grab her, but the woman jumped and the man followed. The pine saved her life, but her husband died. Land diving has become a way in which these island men show their bravery in front of the woman. People of the village sing loud songs to show their support for the brave divers. This tradition is also a way for the men to voice their trouble in public. For example, a man can discuss his marriage problems before he jumps. The villager, including his wife, must stand and listen. The Asian custom caught the interest of some students at Oxford University in England. In the late 1970s, they liked to invest risky and sometimes crazy activities. They were some of the first people to test several of what are now called extreme sports. They are said to have invented modern bungee jumping. In the spring of 1979, members of the group jumped off the Clifton Suspension Bridge in Bristol, England. They were attached to the bridge by a bungee cord, a long elastic rope that stretches. They were dressed in black and white clothing and held bottles of campaign wine. The press quickly reported on their wild activities. The group soon received even more attention when they organized a bungee jump of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, California. A man named A.Z. Hackett of New Zealand later heard about this group. He decided to make the sport into a business. Mr. Hackett worked with his friend Henry Pan Aswu as an expert to skiing. They started developing bungee ropes and materials. Scientists at Aulya University helped them. The two men knew the people would find bungee jumping exciting and fun, and they knew people would pay money the experience. To show the world bungee jumping, they held major jump in 19 1987 of the famous Eiffel Tower in Paris, France. They later get permission to open the first bungee jumping operation on the Kawarau Bridge in Queenstown, New Zealand. Many people paid $75 to jump off the bridge with a bungee cord attached to their ankles. Mr. Hackett worked hard to make sure the public knew how safe his material was. He developed a method to guarantee safety, called it the bungee code of practice. Bungee jumping might seem frightening, but it is a very safe activity if you go to wall established bungee jump on company. People who work for bungee operators usually have a great deal of training and experience. They use very strong and carefully made rubber ropes. They choose a rope based on the jumper body weight. This is so they can manage how much the rope stretches when the person falls. The rope attaches through a harness device that around the jumper's ankles. Often, operators use a body harness as well. This is so that you have twice the protection in case one harness breaks. Good bungee operators make sure all equipment is in excellent condition. They should also do several checks to make sure all ropes, harness and tires are correctly attached. It is important to remember that this sport is not safe for everyone. People who have high blood pressures or heart conditions should not try jumping. People with back or knee injuries or who suffer from epilepsy should also avoid this sport. And remember, if you don't feel like experiencing it yourself, you can always watch other people jump. Not now you have jumped once up and down several times on the rubber rope and are hanging by your ankles in the middle of the air. You may be wondering what you are supposed to do now. Don't worry, the operators have different choices for getting you back to land right side again. Oftentimes, a bungee cord and a rope will attach to your rope and help you back up the structure you jump from. One extreme sports company gives a warning in the website. The warning to the bungee jumping might lead to big smiles and deep feelings of happiness and excitement. Since its beginnings in New Zealand, commercial bungee jumping has spread to countries everywhere. One of the highest bungee jumps in the world from a structure is near Locarno, Switzerland, over the Berchtesgaden. The drop measured 220 meters. In fact, you can see the character James Bond jump of this very bright in the 1995 movie Golden Age. Or there is the 216-meter jump from the Blocklands Bridge in South Africa. This is the highest single arch bridge in the world. Of course, not every place has a body of water with a bridge from which you can jump. Some amusement parks offer bungee jumping from Grand Masonry in the Andes Mountains of Peru. You can visit Action Valley outside the city of Cusco. Visitors can jump from a metal box that hangs from the cable high up in the air. Most of these companies can sell you video recordings or photographs of your jumps. This way, you can prove to your family back home that you were brave enough to bungee. Now, extreme sports companies are finding ways to make bungee jumping even more frightening. Some offer bungee jumps at night, or jumps where you fall off a structure backwards. There are also bungee jumps from flying helicopters and hot air balloons. You can also try bungee jumping for two. Some companies can harness two people together so you and a friend can experience twice the excitement. AZ Hackers Company even offer a sky jump of the tallest building in Macau. Just how far will you go experience the first rush of bungee jump? Aulya will help run a bungee operation on the Victoria Falls Bridge between Zimbabwe and Zambia in Africa. He has been jumping from this 111-meter drop for many years. From the steel bridge, you can see the giant waters of Victoria Falls, one of the largest waterfalls in the world. Mr. Mujiwa explains that every human being wants to feel the rush of adrenaline. He says, when you bungee jumping, you leave all stress and bad thinking behind. See, he says you come back up this a new mind. But what does a person who is new bungee jumping think about these supports? Tim Rooney recently traveled to Victoria Falls. He only had 24 hours to spend in Zimbabwe, but he made sure of find time to jump off this famous bridge toward the powerful Zambezi River. Here is what we had to say about the experience. Hi, I'm Tim Rooney from Washington DC. Jumping off the bridge was one of the most spectacular, poetic moments of my life. The idea hadn't really occurred to me until we got the falls and we saw the view. I decided what better way to get to know this view to jump into it. I think that the jump had more of scary impact on my girlfriend we have towards the world thing. To an observer, a bungee jump looks like a terrible, violent process. But the actual experience of it is one uplifting. You jump and you don't have any sense of being together or failing or anything. You just are floating and down. It is one of the most calm, wonderful things I have ever done. I recommend it. Everybody do it. This program was written and produced by Dana Demes. I'm Steve Amber, and I'm Shirley Griffith. You can read and listen to this program on our website. Join us again next week for exploration in VOA Special English. Thank you.